As for me and my house, we shall serve the Lord. The father or the man has a specific role in handing on the faith. It's an irreplaceable role. It's a role that only a father can fill. Now, women have a specific role as well, and it's unique to handing on the faith. Yet there seems to be something in the makeup of the dynamic of the faith entering into our life in a way that actually makes us go to church, that the love is deep enough that it actually affects the way we live. And the sociological studies are finding that the father is the guarantor, so to speak, of the children living the faith. See, modern psychology has helped us understand human nature. And they've decided to make many studies about things that people do. And one of those are believe in God. And of the people who believe in God, some go to church on a regular basis. But we recognize that in some families, some go to church and some do not. In some families, most of the children go to church and most of them do not. And so they decided to do basic studies to see if we can find if there's something common among those whose children go to church. The majority of the children go to church. And sure enough, it's the father. If the father is committed to his faith, in praying, and in taking an active part in the passing on of the faith, the vast majority of the children of that family will continue in their faith. If it's the mother alone, it's about 50% or less. It's a mixed bag. It depends. So what does this say? Well, it says the father and the mother have unique roles in the family. And when it comes to passing on the faith, the father has an irreplaceable role in passing on the faith. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Now, one of the aspects of passing on the faith of the father in the home is his love for his wife. St. Paul exhorts fathers in a very deep and loving way. Fathers, love your wives as Christ has loved the church. One of the primary tasks or duties or manifestations of the love of the father for his children is to love his wife, to regard her as a gift, to treasure her, and to love her as Christ loved the church. Now, how did Christ love the church? Obviously a good question, since God tells us that men are supposed to love their wives as Christ loved the church. Well, how did Christ do it? Well, he died for her. He was tortured for her. He hung upon the cross for her. In short, he gave himself out of complete love for her. And that is the calling of every man, to lay his life down for his wife, so that she may be free to be the woman God has created her to be. Just some very simple suggestions. We have daily Mass at 7 a.m., and we have it at 8:30 a.m. Now, the majority of people who go to that Mass are women. In our culture, we have a skewed masculinity. So we have to reclaim our faith tradition and give the Father proper understanding in his call to be the leader of the faith, to pass on the faith. So that's one way. Go to daily Mass if it fits in your schedule. Another way is every night to gather the family in prayer, to ask your wife, your children, even if it's for 1 minute, every night to gather them in prayer. Prayer is a way of passing on the faith. Now, there's certainly going to be plenty of excuses if you have teenagers or young kids. There's always a good movie on, or there's always someone to talk to on the phone. And so there's never going to be a convenient time for family prayer. So, as a father, no excuse. There's no excuse to neglecting family prayer. There's always going to be reasons not to do it. But none of those reasons are sufficient. So for at least a minute a day, call your family to prayer and pray.